and welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be a quick flip through of my 2023 reading journal. If you'd like to know which books there'll be a spoiler warning for, it's all the books listed here, as I will be showing you my reviews. They will be flipped through pretty quickly, but just in case you accidentally read one, make sure you check this list to make sure you're good with seeing that. Let's get right into it. So we have my cover page and my goals. If you want to see my setup for this journal, it'll be in the corner and down below. I completed 2 of my goals last year, and you know what, that's pretty good. This is my Goodreads challenge. I did give myself extra squares, just because I thought I'd read more than 104. And I did, but I didn't need that many squares. Then we have my bookshelf, which I took out this year if you've seen my 2024 reading journal setup, because it didn't really work for me. Then we have my 23 and 2023, which I did complete. There was just one that was still on hold by the end of the year, so I didn't color that in. And then my anticipated releases, and I got to most of them, which is pretty good. And then this I tried to use, but I didn't really end up liking how it worked for me, so I switched to using that on Notion. My series tracker, however, I did really enjoy how that turned out, and I tried a different one for this year, but maybe I'll go back to this old one. And then that was also my books bought, and I tried to limit myself to that one page. We didn't do our book club, and I didn't really fill that one in either, so we're just quickly flipping through those. And I had a list of books that I wanted to annotate, and then my actual ones. And then these are my favorite books from every month. I printed out the covers at the end of the year. And I really like how the spread turned out, so I used it in my next year's journal as well. Now we're getting into the monthly setups. I did basically the same thing every month. So after this point, we're going to be flipping through it pretty fast until the end of year spreads. But again, here's all these reviews, and remember that if you see a spoiler, it's not my fault, it's your fault. You can see that this month was basically the only month I actually filled in my book club thing, because we kind of stopped our book club. And as you can see at the beginning of this journal, I did full 1-page reviews for every book. But later in the journal, you'll see that I switched up my review style a little bit, and I like how that worked better. And this year I'm kind of doing a hybrid of both of them. Really quickly wanted to jump back on and say this is my review for Crooked Kingdom, which was my favorite book of the year, so I gave it 2 pages. And I think this was kind of my favorite review that I wrote. And then July is the month I switched up my review style, so as you can see, I kind of just wrote however much I had to say on the book, instead of trying to fit like a bunch of writing on one page that I didn't really need to write down. And then I did have that other series tracker that I didn't end up filling out, even though I probably did start more series. And And then here you can see my other really long review, which was for Kingdom of Ash, which was my second favorite book of last year. And I really enjoy writing really long reviews for my favorite books because it just gets out all my thoughts. And then I can hopefully move on with my life. But you never know. I didn't move on. And now we've made it to my end of journal pages, so we have all my reading stats and then my stats from Storygraph, which I fill in at the end of the month. Like I go in and log all my books at the end of the month, but I mostly use Goodreads for all my stats. And then we have my book bracket, where I put in all my favorites of every month, and then I put them against each other until I got my favorite 2 books. And then later I wrote mini reviews for each of those. Then we have my book awards, which I really enjoyed, so I put all my fave of each genre, and then favorite main characters and ships and things like that, and then some plot twists, and then my favorite tropes as well. I didn't fill in my reading reflections, but again, there's my favorite book and then the runner-up, and I wrote a little kind of mini review about why it was my favorite book and second favorite, and then that's the end of the journal, and I did have some extra pages, but I'll probably just use those if I ever need to go over anything. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!